Oh man, I was so wrong about the Wahoo Speedplay pedals, and now we need to get into that. I think this is now my third video on the Wahoo Speedplay pedals, and this is probably going to be my last one. So I want to leave you with my final thoughts on these pedals. I've used both SPD mountain bike pedals and SPD road pedals, but these ones seem to tick all the boxes for me and kind of merge the benefits from both. So for me personally, from my point of view, these are the best pedal that I've ever used. So you get all that kind of power transfer and stiffness that you get from a road pedal. You can wear carbon fiber shoes, so the power transfer again is optimal, and you're not going to find anything that's more superior in terms of that. But you also get all of the benefits of being able to clip in both sides, much like SPD mountain bike pedals, which I find much easier. I find it awesome. I know people are completely fine with the road pedals where you just clip in that one side, and it's meant to hang in that position to make it easy to get in and out. But for me, these are just so much easier, and I need to concentrate far less. I don't have to think about clipping in and out so much, what side the pedal's going to be, or even looking down at the pedals sometimes. I can just clip in flawlessly, and I've used them now for about a year with my Bont Riot shoes, and they've just worked really well. I haven't really had to do any maintenance on them, which is one of the drawbacks. Some people do find they've got to do a lot of maintenance on them compared to other shoes, but I haven't actually done much at all. I've only cleaned them maybe once or twice in the past year, and I've used them for lots of different events. I've used them for sporties, so I've used them for a couple of triathlons and commuting and just kind of general rides, and also indoor on the turbo trainer. The exact ones that I've got are the cheaper ones, the Speedplay comp pedals, which are meant to weigh 232 grams. Obviously the compact nature of them as well means you're really close to the crank, really close to that spindle, and you're just putting power directly into the road. It feels really good. I can't really talk much to it being superior in terms of power transfer to any other pedal, but it definitely feels like you're getting the most out of your cycling. The only real drawback I can think about with these pedals, and why you might not want to get them, is they're a little bit fiddly to put on the cleats. That took me a while to do, but to be honest, once they're on there, it's done, isn't it? It's just one job. It takes maybe probably double the time than it does to set up a normal pair of road cleats, but actually once they're on there, they're pretty good, and actually walking around in them hasn't been too bad either. It's got this kind of rubber silicone casing, which makes it quite easy actually to walk around. They're fairly grippy when you compare it to the normal kind of road style ones. They're obviously not as easy as a mountain bike shoe, but they're pretty good to walk in. I really like the float on them as well. I have them quite floaty, so I can move my feet around, so I don't get any kind of knee aches and pains by having them locked into a certain position for such long periods of time. But even with that as well, it doesn't feel like I'm going to slip out of them at any point. It feels solid when I need to put down the pressure, but if I need to kind of move my feet around a little bit to maybe just ease things up, I can absolutely do that as well. So for about 6 months, I was using them, cycling along, just really loving them, clipping in and out, feeling really good about these pedals. And then I got a really annoying clicking noise in the right side, and it felt like it was coming from the pedal body itself. Every time I put pressure into the pedal, it would get louder. Every time I eased up or didn't cycle with the right side, I just put pressure on the left side, the noise would completely go away. So I couldn't figure out what it was. I took it to the bike shop, and he stripped things down, he greased a few areas, put things back together, and went for a ride on it himself. And he thought it was the pedals as well. So I thought the next thing to do was contact Wahoo themselves and say, look, I've got this issue. I think it's coming from the right side pedal itself, and I've heard some other people have this issue as well. So possibly I had a bit of a bias going into it, and I was actually completely wrong. So we went through this whole troubleshooting process, and basically I found out I was completely wrong. It wasn't the pedal itself. I had to change the pedals, try some different ones, and the noise was still there. So it wasn't the pedal at all, and I know I put that in my last video that I thought it was coming from the pedal, and it was kind of a big drawback for using these pedals for me. but I was completely wrong about that. So I just wanted to set the record straight on that. The clicking noise wasn't coming from the pedal, and the pedals have been completely flawless all year round, no problems whatsoever. So I'm 100% sticking with the Wahoo Speedplay pedals. I just think they're awesome, but if it's not broken, don't fix it. If you're using the road pedals or the mountain bike pedals at the minute and you're using them completely fine, they feel really good, then it's probably not worth the swap, because you're not really upgrading much per se. I think it's just a personal preference type thing, but for me, these work in every aspect of what I want from a cycling pedal. But if you are having issues with clipping in and out, or the feel of them, or you've got kind of some knee issues or some niggles, aches and pains anywhere, or you want to swap to a stiffer road shoe from a mountain bike type shoe, then maybe these are a really good option to look at. I'll leave a link to these ones in the description below, and I'll try and put it in the comments section as well. If you do have any questions or anything, put them in the comments. I'll reply to all of them, being a small channel. And lastly, sorry I was wrong in terms of the clicking noise, and I'll hopefully see you in a video soon.